The NCAA is absolutely corrupt, and we've talked about this at length on our channel, but they may be stooping to a brand new low this time. For whatever reason, they've picked the Seminoles and Darrell Jackson to try and prove a point or prove their power or authority, and frankly, it's disgusting. I got a bit of an update on Jackson's waiver and where we stand with that, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But the real pity about this situation is that the NCAA is operating under a brand new and unfair set of rules. The NCAA set forth a new waiver process recently that all new waivers are now harder to get. Basically, they want to limit how many times guys are able to transfer. The debate over that could rage on, but obviously the NCAA has no issue with how many times a coach can transfer year after year after year and take a new job, but they've always been more for the coaches than the players. And so that's a different conversation for a different day, but it does probably need to be at least spoken. Darrell Jackson's waiver was filed before these new rules were set into place and before this tightening had come about. But based on some conversations with folks close to the situation, it sounds like the NCAA may be applying the new rules to a waiver that was filed before any change took place. Now, I know it doesn't surprise you guys that the NCAA would try to overreach and do something that would hurt one of its student athletes. Heavy sarcasm font there. But here they go again, doing things that are unfair to the kids, and that's who it ultimately impacts. There's a rather large part of this that you guys might not even be aware of, and we'll get to that in just a moment, but you're not going to be very happy about it. I know that we usually deal in things that are pretty positive and pretty happy, like recruiting, commitment reactions, and trying to project where kids are going to college, but I think this will piss you off. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Stay tuned. But do you remember why Jackson filed the hardship waiver to try and transfer? It was pretty widely reported. We're not breaking any news here that his mom isn't in the best of health and she has a medical condition that's been verified by multiple sources and outlets, and he moved home to be closer to her. A lot of people bring up the fact that the Joshua Farmer situation during the spring may be a reason that the NCAA may or may not be willing to approve his waiver. But I've got a little bit of a different take there as well. There was a ton of speculation that if Farmer took off, that Jackson may follow him, and understandably so. Jackson's waiver hadn't been approved at that point, and obviously still hasn't as of today, and there was a doubt as to whether or not it would or wouldn't be approved. So if you're going to have to sit out a year anyway, might as well go with your buddy, right? Well, here's the thing. He never said he was leaving. He never put his name in the portal. He never confirmed any of the speculation. And just a couple of days later, Farmer was locked in and all null. Shout out the battle's end. And the speculation ended. So the NCAA has certainly done some stupid things, but if they're basing a decision that Jackson might have followed his buddy and transferred with him, but nothing was official, well, that's an all-time new low for them. And frankly, though it wouldn't surprise us, that'd be pretty gross as well. Florida State's going to have good defensive line depth this season, and we dropped an update on Fabian Lovett in our Discord for our exclusive members, so go sign up there if you haven't already. But I do want to get to what everyone is missing on this, and again, hopefully you're sitting down or at least in a good mood, because I might ruin it here when I get to this next point. Just before we do that, let's give some love to Garnet and Gold. Listen, we are just over a month away from the season, and you need to make sure that you're getting your orders in for stuff so that you are ready to go, so that other stuff doesn't sell out. They've had to reorder jerseys a couple of times. I know the coaches' polos are super hot. We are to the month where football will actually happen. Fall camp starts tomorrow on Thursday. You need to get your orders in at garnetandgold.com. Use code NOSLAW, NOSLAW. Support people that support this program and the Noles. You should only be shopping at garnetandgold.com. Let us save you 15% with no slaw. Okay, so what everyone's missing about this, do you know who currently works at the NCAA as the Vice President of Regulatory Affairs? the guy who oversees all regulatory functions, including academic and membership affairs, and the NCAA Eligibility Center and Enforcement. That would be none other than Stan Wilcox. Yes, that's right. The former FSU athletic director is literally over the NCAA Eligibility Center and is over the enforcement of that department. Is Darrell Jackson going to get an eligibility waiver this year? We don't know. But who does know? Florida State's former athletic director, Stan Wilcox. Now, FSU fans have mixed emotions thinking about Wilcox's tenure at Florida State. The end of it, though, certainly isn't something they're fond of and certainly isn't very fun to look back and remember. Remember, he was the athletic director who was in charge during the entire Jimbo debacle at the end. He also hired Willie Taggart and then months later left for greener pastures quickly into that tenure. Wilcox did some good things in his time at FSU. There is no doubt about that. But his tenure was largely marred by incompetence and failure at the end. Not only did he block progress at Florida State, he's now blocking something else. And that's Darrell Jackson's waiver. A kid who decided to transfer so that he could be closer to home and a sick mom. It's sort of crazy to think about how we've come full circle. Wilcox hurt us while he was in Tallahassee, and now he's hurting us at the NCAA. Here's what I've been hearing about the waiver. Thanks for sticking around and listening to the video until now. But I've spoken with two sources close to the situation, and they've both echoed similar thoughts. FSU has either already gotten news that the waiver has been denied, or they're anticipating getting that news very soon. I've been told that a team is already assembled and on retainer. It's a legal team, and Florida State is obviously going to appeal that decision. Whether that appeal process has already started or whether they're just anticipating getting a denial and then it being appealed, that is the current mood around Florida State. Now, you remember Big Meech, Dimitri Emanuel, his waiver was not approved originally. Florida State appealed it, and they did win that appeal. So there is some hope around the concern of it potentially being denied first and then appealed later. It's something that Florida State has had some success with already this offseason, getting a waiver that was denied, flipped to approved. I've got mixed feelings on whether it finally gets approved or not. Should it? Absolutely, yes. Unequivocally, yes. The waiver should be approved. But this is the corrupt NCAA that we're talking about here. This is the same group that wants to limit how much athletes are able to make through NIL and the ways that they're able to make money through their name, image, and likeness. This is the organization that only exists to make itself and its leadership millions and millions and millions of dollars. This organization is the one that completely screws the pooch when it comes to enforcing actual rules like tampering, illegal recruiting inducements, and more. That organization is the one holding up a kid being able to transfer and be close to home and his sick mother. It's also the organization that has let countless horrible things go on and not done anything about wins or taken wins away from certain programs and still hasn't given Coach Bowden his wins back. What's going to happen with Darrell Jackson? I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty 50-50 on it. I don't have a strong lean either way. I know that folks close to the situation do have some confidence and they do think that they can pull it off. But again, we are dealing with the NCAA. It's incompetence and it's corruption. So it's hard to say that they will do what's right. We will certainly do our very best to keep you updated on it, both here on the channel and in our Discord. Make sure that you join below in the comments and description to get exclusive info and insight there. On the defense specifically, the noles are absolutely loaded either way. And as much as we want Jackson, as much as he would help, they are loaded, both up front and all over. If you missed our chat with David Hale on the defense and what to look forward to this season, you can click right here to check it all out.